Representative Kraft.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So I'm the other one that Representative Coulter mentioned that ran in a city ranked choice vote election. It was back in 2019, and it was St. Louis Park's first ranked choice vote election. And interestingly enough, it was an odd year election, so we were on both the city council and the school board was up. The school board in St. Louis Park right now does not use ranked choice voting. So we had on one side of the ballot a ranked choice voting side, and on the other side a more traditional voting side. And it worked great. I said I ran against two other people, and maybe I didn't do quite as well as Representative Coulter. On the first ballot, I had 44% of the vote, and second place had 32, and third had, I think, 24 or so. But I did get it on the second side. I will say that one of the things that I really found, I came into it favorable about ranked choice voting. But was really interesting was when you're actually running in a race and you're going out and you're door knocking. And very often, I think if you were, and since I've run in a non-ranked choice voting race, if you see a lawn sign for an opponent, you would just bypass that house. And you would look to talk to just folks that are likely to vote for you. But with ranked choice voting, you go and talk to the folks at that house, because they may be critical to you winning, to having them pick you as the second choice. And so what this does is it means that built into this process is an incentive to talk to everyone, not just to those that agree with you. And I think that process, that talking and listening to folks that maybe where you're not their first choice and maybe don't agree with you, is really important and can help us bridge some of the divides that we have in this country. The other thing that it does is that you're discouraged naturally from going after opponents and getting them too angry at you or pissing off their followers. Because again, you need to think about who will pick you, your opponent's supporters will pick you as a second choice. So I think it also built a more positive election and campaigning experience. I got to know my two opponents quite well. And it just was really, I know that this is not, I appreciate that this is being done as a local option. I think for cities or school boards that want to be able to do it, I think it's a phenomenal thing for them to be able to do. And I really encourage us to support it. And I want to tell one of my favorite election stories that ties into why I think ranked choice voting is really good. So, as many of you know, I was at the end of one long day of door knocking. I think I had been out for 5 or 6 hours. And the last house I was coming up to the last house on my list. And I was just dead tired. And so I'm walking up to the house, and as I get there, I see not one, but 2 lawn signs, one for each of my opponents. And I said, oh, and I turned around, I started walking away. I'm like, oh, forget it. I'm just tired, I'm not gonna do it. But then something somehow creeped into my mind, like, what the heck? Like, let's go have some fun with this. I'm just gonna go knock on this door and say, you know what? You really need a full set. You should have one of all of our campaign signs. So I go up, I knock on the door, and a couple opens, and I introduce myself. I said, hey, I'm Yeah, I'm Larry Kraft. I'm running for City Council at Large seat. And, I see you have these 2 lawn signs out there, and I think you really just need to have a set. And they laughed and said to me, oh my goodness, we've heard about you. We have those 2, but we're voting for you. So with that, everyone, please support this. I think it's a great option. Vote yes.